Yeah. So, Queenie, good to see you again. Who are you? What does your company do? And what problem do you solve?
Hi, Cormac. Thanks for having me. So, my name is Queenie. I'm the founder of CVI. And if you ever been on a business trip, you know the pain. Pockets full of receipts, and then you spend hours entering them later. And oftentimes you lose them on the road. Instead of wasting hours organizing paper receipts and doing your expense reports, you just text a photo to our AI. Within seconds, it extracts all the information and send them straight to QuickBooks or Xero. What used to take hours now takes 5 seconds.
Nice. Okay. Yep. Yep. I've definitely gone through that pain myself from the rep side of things, like putting the invoices in. So, what made you start this company?
So we got the idea when we started our first startup back in like 2020. And like a lot of new founders, we were learning a lot of new things and doing sales during the day and then working on the products at night. And then one thing was constantly slowing us down was the bookkeeping and taxes. And that part was really painful because like the accounting software is really complicated and the process is really slow. And we spent a lot of time just to understand how it works. And that's when it clicked. We are thinking that if they struggle with us so much and we are a tiny startup, then we think thousands of other businesses will be impacted as well. And that's why we started with CVI to make handling receipts and bookkeeping as simple as sending a text message.
Nice. Okay. Okay. And then, was there a moment that you knew that this is working? Like you started getting clients? What did that look like?
So we saw people like spending a lot of time doing the receipts. So when we find out is that we set up like a landing page with like a annual subscriptions, like for Receive AI, without even building the feature yet. So we want to see if people are gonna sign up. And then within hours, we launched this on LinkedIn, and then like our first customer signed up. He signed up for a year whole program. And that told us everything that the problem was so painful that people are willing to pay for something that's not out there a year. And they pay for like a year subscriptions.
Nice. Okay. Okay. And then, what was your sales motions? How are you? How did you get those other than that first client that just signed up? Like, is that your whole sales process, or how did you get clients?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, for us, it all started with product-led growth. People discovering us like through like word of mouth, and they try the product themselves and they upgrade on their own. And once we saw that pattern is repeating, we start to build our sales motion around that.
Nice. Okay. And is that inbound, outbound? Yeah. How is that sales motion?
Yeah, mostly inbound and product-led growth. So we use like SEO. We focus a lot on SEO, and we also like build like free demos and stuff, and then like let people try it out and stuff.
Nice. Okay. Okay. What's the hard part of like controlling that sales flow or the buyer's journey? What's the hardest part to control?
I would say it's like the awareness, like because most people don't even realize they have a problem with receipts. They go on their days, they track their receipts manually, they just accept that as like a normal. And once they see what we can do, what we see about does, the sales is basically done. The product speaks for itself, and by getting their attention, cutting through the noise because there are a lot of expense software out there, that's the battle.
Mm, yep, yep. So, because there's I won't name all of them, but there's quite a lot of competitors in the space. So, um, do you tend to go for, like, do you tend to win customers that are like, they don't have an expense management software at the moment? Are you winning people from other expense management softwares? How does that look?
For us actually, like, we don't want to like take it over from other people's. We more tend to like go for people that are like, they are still doing things really manually because we know that that's how we can get them from like zero to like 100. But like getting people from like a competitor, that's not quite what we're going for. And to be honest, I don't think like competition kills startups. most of the time it's like the what we are doing, what we're able to cater towards our customer. It's always a little different from like how everyone else is doing that business.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So, and then people are closing themselves when they see the demo, and yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, that was nice. What's a sales or growth mistake that you've made along this journey so far?
So one of our early mistake was pitching too fast. We will when we get on the call, we'll jump straight into the features that instead of asking questions about how they're handling today and what they're doing. And we realize that when we're just slowing down and listen and understand their current workflow, we will make everything easier. And also, like, a lot of time that, like, the sales process of, like, getting people to be on and then, like, just pitching right away isn't, like, the best approach. Because instead of selling, like, the plane ticket like, I get this from Alex Mosey. Instead of selling plane tickets, the ride to get there, how comfortable the seat is, you wanna sell Maui. You wanna tell them how great it is that you're on that vacation just hanging out and don't like, sipping like a cocktail or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm a big fan of Alex Hormozy. Yeah, myself. So yeah, okay, okay. Was there a hire that you made or like a specific playbook that you tried that didn't work?
You know, like, instead of saying what works and what didn't work, I wish I would say that we have a killer plan, killer campaign, but we're still in the testing mold. Right now is less about finding the perfect channel and more about figuring out what message actually connects. Good news is that like every experiment we make will bring us closer to understand who our real buyers are and what they actually care about.
Mm, yeah, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So moving forwards, it's just continuously looking at what is making people buy, basically.
Yes, yeah.
No, okay, okay. And what's something that um when you look at sales or growth that you see a lot of people going after, but you strongly disagree with it?
What do you mean?
So what's a belief that people think in the software or the tech space that they think that you've got to do this to grow, and you disagree with whatever they're saying?
You mean what would be the one thing that I disagree with that people going after for growth?
Yeah.
I think, I think honestly, a lot of time I feel like a lot of company are looking for like VC funding. And to me, that I think as like a SaaS, like especially if you're a technical founder, I think early on is best to keep money out of the path. I think that your knowledge has to keep up with your money. Basically, if you like if you don't learn enough, you don't have enough knowledge before you like throwing money in, that money you're not gonna know where to spend it, how to use it wisely. So instead of like spending all this money at the beginning, I think like learning is actually a better path. Like go talk to your customer, make extra effort to connect with them, understand what their pain point is. And honestly, you don't need a lot of like killer creativity, like breakthrough. Like you just have a few of them, a couple of them, and just like way better than your competitor. And that's how you grow and how you make it better.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Okay. And what's a metric that you see a lot of SaaS or tech businesses track, but you don't think they should?
Um, Everyone tracks signed ups, but I think it's a vanity metrics, especially with free trials. We mostly focus on engagement, like how many people actually use the product and they come back. Because at the end of the day, I rather have like 100 active users that using the apps every day than having 10,000 who sign up and never touch it again.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense. Okay. Okay. Can we go into a bit of a quick fire round, where I'll just try and ask like one question, and I'll try not and ask a question off the back of it.
Sure, sure.
Cool. Okay. So, a book or a podcast that's changed how you think?
So we talked about Alex Hormozi, and I really like to listen to The Game by Alex Hormozi. It's his podcast, and I listen to pretty much every episode. It's a great podcast if you ever feel stuck or need perspective. He's really honest about business and mindset and things that like how to push you to grow. And other one I would say is like the book called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. It's like a he's like a international like negotiator for like a hostage. And it's really opens my eyes to how powerful good communication is. It's not just in sales, it's also in everyday life. And I use the lesson I learned from the books every day, whether I'm like talking to a customer or just like ordering food at a restaurant.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I like that. No, I think Never Split the Difference is maybe the first sales book that I read. So,
Oh, nice, nice. What do you think?
yeah, really good. Yeah, yeah. It was. I think I was 16 at the time, so it is a long while ago. But yeah, like, yeah, I completely agree. And again, yeah, Alex Hormozi, super helpful. All throughout my journey. So yeah, okay. What's your favorite sales tool or founder tool?
I might be biased, but honestly, I think Receive AI is my favorite.
Yeah, fair enough.
We don't even think about it anymore. Like whenever we get a receipt, we just send it. Thing is that like sometimes when you have like a task in your head, a back of mind that you need to do this eventually, but then it just pile up to you and just like you like, oh, I'm gonna do this later, I'm gonna do this later, and then you start having this pile of like mental like space that's stuck in your head. But when we use Receive AI, it just removes everything. It's like one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, yeah. No, fair enough. Okay. Underrated go-to-market channel.
I would say it's partnership because, like, especially for us, because a lot of our users already sit inside like QuickBooks and Xero. Integration with different tools is really helpful for us. And also, when we do collaboration, instead of like trying to compete for attention, it just make everything easier. It's like growth, and then we already have the trust from like both channels.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of people are saying underrated go-to-market channel as partnerships recently. So yeah, I think it must be across
Interesting.
the board. Yeah. Okay. So and a founder or sales leader that you really admire.
So we already talked about Hormozi. So another one, I wouldn't say he's like a founder. It's like I also like listening to or follow like Federer and Djokovic because they believe in hard work, discipline, and the mental resilience. I think a lot of time, like being a startup founders or when you try to start anything, you do need that mental space that like when even though the whole world disagree with you, you still want to do it and just go ahead and just knock it down step by step. Because you're successful not because the whole world agrees with you. It's because even though no one agrees with you, that's still you're hungry for it. You still want it. You still something that like it just motivates me whenever I hear them speech.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Okay. Um, where can people connect with you, Queenie?
So you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active there. Just look up like Queenie from Receive AI, and it's Queen plus IE. And if you're a small team that's constantly on the road and tired of dealing with receipts or expense reports, definitely reach out. I like to learn how you're doing it today and what we can do to make it better.
Perfect. Well, I'll put the links in the description so people can reach straight out. So yeah, appreciate you coming on
Sounds
and
good.
pod.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Cormac. And we'll talk later.